Tuning in today. We have a special show with Dr. Willie Jolley as our cover guy for January. But we also have our brand new, this is all brand new, YB, Rob YB Youngblood with us as well. He is a new co host. Brian Oles, who is Black Speakers Network founder, has decided that YB is going to be the co host indefinitely with me every single month when we introduce the official magazine of the Black Speakers Network. And so, with that, Mr. YB, how are you, sir?
I am tremendously blessed by the best and grateful to be able to work with you. Brian reached out and offered the opportunity. I said yes. Like, who would not want to work with Dr. Pam Perry? I know you get upset when I call you my Michigan mom, but I got to pay homage because I have so much respect for you, and I'm grateful. And our special guest today is someone who has inspired and impacted me in a major way. So I'm looking forward to us being able to share him with you.
Yes. So everyone that can go to speakersmagazine.com, they can read the entire issue. There's videos embedded in it as well. What I really want to just show what he is known for, the cover says the number one authority about turning setbacks into comebacks. Okay. This is how long I've known you. You had hair back then.
I had hair.
This is it. This book is turning yellow on the inside. Okay. A setback is a setup for a comeback. This was not your first book, though. What was your
No,
first book?
it only takes a minute to change your life was my first book. And then a setback as a setup for a comeback was my second book.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
then turned setbacks and
I have the first book too.
all right, then
And
turn setbacks into greenbacks and an attitude of excellence. Then Chicken Soup for the Soul, and then Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, and two books coming out this year. So,
yes. Yeah, and listen, he's not slowing down. Okay. How long have you been at this, sir, as a
yeah,
professional speaker?
as a professional speaker, I've been speaking for 33 years, full time.
Unbelievable. Oh my God.
Amen. And I have not missed the mortgage payment, have not missed the payroll. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for that.
That is. So I want you to give us the signature, every speaker, senior Hall of Fame speaker here, a legend. For those of you who don't know Dr. Willie Jolley, we're going to dive into his background and how he got started and all that kind of thing. But give us your the first book, how that really came about, but give us the little thing what you always say.
Well,
And
I knew everybody wants me to do that.
I love
And
that.
and
That
and
needs to be a
if
song.
I don't do it, I'll get all sorts of responses that where is it? So let me start as I usually start every speech, every radio show, everything I do. I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. It's forced upon me. I can't refuse it. I did not seek it. No, I did not choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account. If I abuse it, just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity to be with my dear friend, Dr. Pam Perry, and YB as we have this start of the year. And I'm honored to be on the front cover of Speakers Magazine. I'm honored and I'm grateful. So thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, I love that. I love when you say it because that just gives me life when you say that.
Amen.
It's just like
Amen.
it's and but you do a minute also too on another station. So talk about that as well.
Yes. Well, I do my 1 minute motivational messaging. So that 1 minute. Now, first of all, let me tell you that minute is I did not write that minute.
Right.
That only takes a minute, 60 seconds. Is by Dr. Benjamin Elijah Mays, who
Mhm.
was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s mentor.
Mhm.
And I started using that minute over 30 years ago when I first started speaking. And I adopted it, and it's become people know me by it now. In fact,
Mhm.
some people will use it and they'll say, "Oh, that's Willie Jolley's minute." And so I'm grateful that I have branded it. Now, wrote my first book. It only takes a minute to change your life. Based on that minute, I started writing 1 minute motivational messages that I would put on a little AM station in Washington, D.C. Well, those little messages were so impactful and so popular that I got picked up by Donnie Simpson and Tony Perkins for the largest uh, show in the DC at that
Yes.
time to be part of their morning show.
I
And
love
they
them.
left morning show and went to afternoon.
Mhm.
WHUR FM, which was the second largest station in DC, Howard University radio station, put me on preceding Steve Harvey every morning. And so for 16 years, I did it then and there. And then by 2019, I got a call from Kathy Hughes,
Mm.
owner CEO of Radio One. She said, "We want you over here with us, and we want to syndicate you." So I'm now syndicated in 49 markets daily with the Wake Up and Win with Dr. Willie Jolley message. You can hear me on Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell
Yes.
in 49 markets every day at 8:20 Eastern, 7:20 Central. But we also know that many people are in markets where they might not be able to get me. So we also have a video version of that 1 minute where you can get actually free if you go to my website and you just sign up for my daily newsletter. Every day I send out Monday through Friday
Mhm.
a message that says, this is going to be your day to win. 1 minute messages to help you grow and go to the next level. So thank you for that, Pam.
Yes. Yeah. When with what? So how about you getting a call from Kathy Hughes? Like what?
Woo!
How
Come on, somebody.
yeah. Yeah.
Well,
People
I
say that.
must say, Kathy Hughes and I have been friends for over 30 years. I
Wow.
met Kathy Hughes when I was in the music business, and
Yeah.
she was the owner of one little radio station, a little small AM station in a tough part of DC. We were friends, and I had a record out, and she played my record, and
Mm.
we became friends. And then when I got a record deal with was a background singer with Gene Carn and Phyllis Hyman, and me and the other background singer with Gene Carn, we did this record on CBS Records. And Kathy, by that time, was starting to grow her empire, and she had her birthday party and asked us to be the featured musical artist for that
Mhm.
show. And we did that. And then as time went on, she continued to grow. One day, when I wrote my setback setup for a comeback book, I went to Kathy and said, "What's your goal? What's your dream? And what's been your setback?" She had had a number of setbacks. People, over 30 banks had turned her down when she went for a loan to get her first radio station,
Wow.
and she had a reputation for having a bit of anger. Okay, she had an anger issue, and so she would get angry and she would get mad when they would turn her down, and she'd flip off on them. Well, one day somebody advised her, "Kathy, anger is the word danger without the D. The
Mm.
D is for discipline. If
Mm.
you get some discipline and you harness that anger and you don't let it go, but you use it like fuel, it
Mhm.
will change your life." And she took that advice and used it and got a loan, went on to build the largest African American owned, well, it was owned, now it's public, it's on
Mhm.
the stock market. And she and her son run the company. And so I wrote about her in my book, A Setback Set Up for a Comeback, about how you must face it, trace it, erase it, replace it. Come on,
There you go.
somebody.
Come
There
Face
on.
you go.
Come
Face
on.
it that you got some issues that you got to deal with. Trace it. See where that issue came from. Is there some way you can learn how that came to be a part of your life? Face it, trace it, erase it. Look, there's a reason why that computers have a delete key. There's a reason why a pencil has an eraser. We can erase stuff and that we make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We are human. We have flaws. So erase it. But then after you erase it, replace that negative with something positive. And if
Right.
you do that, and that's what she did. So yes, thank you, Pam, for giving. I got a lot of stories. Let me tell you something,
You
folks.
do. You
I
do.
got stories about how I have been able to go up the rough side of the mountain,
Yeah,
and
that's a,
how you can do it too. I'm gonna give you some tips today. So I want y'all to join in. I want y'all to tell everybody. I want you to share this broadcast with everybody you know. Put it on your social media because we want people to win. That's what we want them to do: win every day in their personal life, their private life, their professional life, and their families and their finances. We want you to win. How many of y'all want to win? How many? Come on now. How many want to win? Then I want to help you to win. That's why our website is Win with Willie, and
.com.
why my daily shows are Wake Up and Win, because we want people to win every day, every way. And look, what I say in my book, An Attitude of Excellence, is this.
I have that one too.
An Attitude of Excellence, I say what I learned from Stephen Covey when we were on tour together in Australia. He wrote the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I said, Dr. Covey, of those 7 habits, what's the most powerful? He said, Brother Jolley, they're all powerful. I said, but what's the most powerful? You had to choose one. He said, if I had to choose one, win-win. If you help enough other people win, you're going to win more.
Collaboration.
Zig Ziglar said, if you help enough other people get what they want, you're going to get everything you want. So, folks, I want to help you win, because I've learned is the more I give, the more I get. The more I put out, the more it comes back to me. And so I want to help you win. And if I help you win, it might not come from you, but it'll come to me from somewhere. Because what you put into the universe comes back to you, good or bad. And so I'm always trying to put good out, because the more good I got going out into the universe, the more good comes back to me.
It is. That is it. One of the things I want to make sure that you always talk about as well is your better half.
Aha.
How long have you guys been married?
Well, we're newlyweds, Pam. We're newlyweds with YB. For those who don't know, we're newlyweds. June 28th, we'll celebrate 39 years of marriage.
Oh my
God. We're newlyweds. And people always say, I use that line everywhere. I say, how you newlyweds? You've been married going on 39 years, almost 40 years, because I still got the fire for her. That's how. I love that woman. I would crawl over broken glass to get to that woman. So I'm grateful, Pam. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have her in my life. I am blessed. And many people know we wrote a book called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. And if you go to winwithwillie.com, you'll see all of my sites, suite of sites. You'll see the marriage site. Go there, check it out, get a free chapter from the book, and then join us every Monday night at 9:00 Eastern on A Jolley Marriage on Facebook, A Jolley Marriage on Instagram, A Jolley Marriage on Twitter, A Jolley Marriage is the site you go to, A Jolley Marriage on all of those, or Willie Jolley LinkedIn Live. We do a half-hour show every Monday night on marriage, on relationships, on what's messing up marriage. Because see, marriage breaks up. Most marriages break up for one of 3 reasons: sex, money, or communication. And so what we want to do is help people get past those issues and get to loving. You found each other initially because you had something that you liked each other about. Well, what happened? Well, what happens is a little something happens, a little disrespect, or words are said not in thoughtfulness or carefulness, and it lingers and then it ferments and it grows, and a little break becomes bigger, and before you know it, is a chasm. We want to stop it before it gets bigger. So join us Monday nights, 9:00. Go to Jolley Marriage, A Jolley Marriage. Get the free chapter from the book, or Win with Willie, and hit the link to the marriage show. We want to help. My wife, man, let me tell y'all,
she's a beast.
She is incredible. You're right. She a beast. She about business. She about making that money, baby. Come on, bring that money up in here. Bring that money up in here.
She will get you straight, okay?
Quick.
She snatched my edges when we did Speak, Sell, and Shine, and she was like, "Okay, so what are you gonna do when you can't speak anymore? What's your plan? What are you know?" And
that's
she
her.
just rattled off that thing about insurances and investments and this and that.
She has a site that's not on winwithwillie.com called the Back Office Boss. Because she wants to help people. Because look, so many people make money and then they get caught up in taxes. They don't put away money for their retirement. They don't have any insurance. These are things she said you got to have if you're going to be in business. You got to be about business and not just making money, but protecting your money and protecting your future. And one thing I told everybody, start planning for retirement now. Wherever you are, because one day if God blesses you with life, you're going to get older. And as one of my mentors, who is 95 years old, still making money, he said, it's better to be poor when you're young than poor when you're old.
My mama.
I know that's right.
Come on.
I know that's right. That
my
is
new book. Oh, new book is about money. Okay. And my wife is involved. I just came giving y'all a sneak peek at the new book. It's called Rich is Good. Wealthy is better. Rich is good,
But
wealthy is
wealthy
better.
is better.
Oh, it's a
Wealthy,
powerful book.
wealthy just even
Because you know,
sounds
in
better.
addition to my daily show on Radio One stations, I have my weekly show, which is on Sirius XM, which is
Right.
the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show, and podcast is on XM and on podcast. And I interview wealth creators every
Mhm.
week. And
Mhm,
I've had
mhm.
David Rubenstein, billionaire, Bob Johnson, billionaire, Sheila Johnson, billionaire, David Stewart, billionaire. I've had Ted Leonsis, billionaire. I've had Steve Case, founder of AOL, billionaire. I have these billionaires, Michael V. Roberts, billionaire. I have my billionaire friends on. Then I have my multimillionaire friends on. Then I have my millionaire friends on. And they talk about how they created wealth. So I encourage
Mm.
everybody to listen every Saturday at 4 o'clock, channel 141 on Sirius XM. It's the #1 self-help show in America. And it recently was named as one of the top 5 downloads globally for downloads on podcasts. So we're very
Wow,
grateful for that. So you can
that
listen to
is,
the podcast or you can listen to Sirius XM channel 141.
I
Yeah, I got a
love
question for you, Dr. Jolley. So all of these things that you've been able to do, it stemmed from your own setback, right?
Yes, sir.
You shared with us doing Speak, Sell, Shine,
Yes.
what precipitated that. Could you talk a little bit about that and really for the folks that are just getting started as speakers, right? Because I think in the beginning, people struggle and they think the struggle is going to last forever. So can you talk a little bit about your setback that prompted you to get to where you are today?
Absolutely, and I think the story is in Speaker Magazine. I hope everybody go get a copy of Speaker Magazine, reads it, and
mhm. It
supports.
is.
Do you
It's
before I go any? Do you allow sponsors in your magazine, Pam?
definitely,
All right, so
definitely.
folks, y'all
Yes.
should
It's a
you
sponsor on
should.
the back right here.
All right, so I'm encouraging people if you want to grow your business, this is a great place to
Mhm.
invest money to use their resources. And her husband is brilliant. Pam's husband, brilliant. Mark Perry. He's the quiet one in the background. Y'all don't see him, but this guy is brilliant. He's
He keep
brilliant,
me
and he
together.
has an advertising agency. So anyway, I encourage you to do that. Now, my story, simple story. It's in the book of setbacks that are for coming. It's only first couple pages because we got uh 200 pages. My story is the first 2 pages. Then I go into stories about other people who have had setbacks and turned them in incredible comebacks. But my
Mhm.
story is very simple. I was a singer with Gene Carn and Phyllis Hyman. But before I started singing with them, I was a nightclub singer. And then I went on tour with them. And then I came back when I was newly married and started a nightclub act in Washington, D.C. And it became one of the most popular nightclub acts. I won the award for Best Jazz Singer, Best Entertainer, Best Performer, and things were going great. One night I went into the nightclub and the club owner said, I want to talk after night show. Well, I said, great. I told the guys in the band they want to talk. We've been selling out for 6 months. We won all the awards. We're about to get our raise. I walked in his office that night. He said, you were great. I said, thank you. The people loved you. I said, thank you. We made a lot of money since you've been here. I said, thank you. He said, that's why it's hard for me to tell you what I got to tell you. Now that we made a lot of money, we've decided we got to get a better return on investment. And the only way to do that with a full nightclub is to lower the cost. And the band is the biggest cost. We
Mm.
found something else that's a lot cheaper than live entertainment. We love you now. I know we love you, but this is a lot cheaper than live entertainment. And it's filling up nightclubs around the country. We bought a karaoke machine. It was the
Mm.
beginning of the karaoke craze. And I said, what, a machine? He said, it's filling up nightclubs. People are making lots of money. I was devastated. I had
Mhm.
worked to build their club. I'd worked to build their clientele, the infrastructure. I'd worked hard for no extra money to help build this, but I still got fired. I was devastated. A friend of mine gave me a motivational tape. I'd never heard a motivational tape. And on that tape was a guy named Charlie Tremendous Jones, one of the
Yeah.
original, early, iconic motivational speakers back in the 50s. And he
Mhm.
said, in 5 years, you'll be the same person you are today, except for two things: the people you meet who inspire you and the books you read that empower you. I never read books, but I started reading books. And I read Think and Grow Rich and The Power of Positive Thinking and The Richest Man in Babylon. I
Mhm.
read the Magic of Thinking Big. I just started reading books. I started developing a library and I started going to seminars and hanging around with positive thinking, upward thinking people who were going places. and my life changed. I took a job while I was trying to figure out what my next step would do in music. I took a job with the Washington, D.C. public school system as a drug prevention coordinator, talking to little kids about staying away from drugs. From the
Wow.
little kids, the teachers would say, "Can you come to my teachers group?" Someone there would say, "Can you come to my church?" Someone in the church would say, "Can you come to my company?" Someone there would say, "Can you come to my association?" And it continued to grow. And one day I was speaking in a little hotel room, and the doorway was open, and down the hallway that night was going to be a big motivational rally. And while I was speaking to that small group of people, maybe 12 or so people, one of the speakers from that night's rally walked by the room. The door was open. He was going to the ballroom to check out the ballroom for his sound check. His name was Les Brown.
Mm-hmm.
He stood outside listening to my message. When I finished, he said, "Young man, you got quite a talent. I'm putting together a tour. You'd be the perfect opening act. It's called the Music and Motivation Tour. You speak and sing. I've never seen someone who does that. Are you interested?" I said, "Yes, sir." And so a few months later, we kicked off the Les Brown Music and Motivation Dream Team Tour, which featured Les Brown, Billy Preston, the great organist, Gladys Knight,
Wow.
the Empress of Soul, and Les Brown. From there, they introduced me to radio people. I got the little radio show. And then because of the radio show, I got an opportunity from a book publisher to write a book. And it became a national bestseller. It only takes a minute to change. Your life. And then a setback set up for a comeback came out and went global bestseller. Then turned setbacks into greenbacks. An attitude of excellence. Chicken soup for the soul. Make love, make money, make it last. And then in 1999, I was speaking in Dallas, Texas. My phone went crazy. Urgent. I call my office. "What's so urgent?" Toastmasters International keeps calling. "What do they want?" They say it's urgent. Call Toastmasters. "Hey, this is Willie Jolley. Willie Jolley, we've been awaiting your call. We just want to let you know you've just been named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world for this year." I said, "What?" They said former winners include Colin Powell, Norman Schwarzkopf, Nelson Mandela, Margaret Thatcher, Christopher Reeve. I said, "But those are the big dogs. I'm a little dog." "Well, I don't understand. I speak to school kids." And she said, "Let me tell you something. Little dog keep yapping enough, yapping loud enough, strong enough. Big dogs start to hear about you."
Yes.
That was 1999. 2005, I was inducted in the Speaker Hall of Fame. In 2013, I was named a legend of the speakers industry. And in 2023, July, I was the recipient of the highest award in the speaking industry, the Cavett Award. And I'm the first African-American man to ever get that award. So that all happened because I got fired and replaced by a karaoke
machine.
So I'm encouraging people. I don't know what your setback has been or your setback is. You might be in the midst of a setback. You might be dealing with what I call the devastating D's of life: a downsizing, a divorce, a disaster, a diagnosis, a disease, the death of a loved one. I don't know what your D is, but I do know that a setback is nothing but a setup for a comeback. And that your best is yet to come. So I'm encouraging you to get resources of people. Remember, it's the people you meet who inspire you, the books you read that empower you. If you don't have my book, A Setback Setup for a Comeback, I'm telling you, folks, you are doing yourself a disservice. Now, not because I wrote the book. No. See, I wrote the book, but I just penned it. The book didn't come from me. It came through me. I give God the glory for that book. And so that book, when I go back and read it, I say, what? How did that come out of my brain? Well, I didn't realize it wasn't my brain. It was God giving me insights and meeting people and giving me experiences that helped me to help others to reach their destiny.
You have so much. Oh my God. Am I muted? Okay. The host says,
"No, you're good. You're good.
No,
you're good, man.
I can
You're
hear
good.
you.
Yeah.
The thing that all these experiences, because even you didn't even really say this on the back of the book, is Publishers Weekly said that he cements his appeal with a wide range of readers. Les Brown gave you a endorsement here, and Wiley, Famous Amos, also gave you an endorsement, right? In like your second book, right? Like just come out.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing?
That does not happen. Publishers Weekly, basically, they really don't say a whole lot about Black books anyway. And then they don't say a lot about anybody's book. And then for your second book to have like an endorsement, a 5-star endorsement. So this is major. But the thing of it is, your life has just been just so robust in all the different things that finally you have put together this one man show
Ah,
to kind of, I guess you pull it all together like a gumbo soup or something. Kind of tell us a little bit about that.
well,
This is,
that,
you
you know
always on the
that
cutting edge. So
I so
tell us
thank
about
you.
that.
I thank you, Pam. The one man show. It's called the Comeback Show.
Okay. Of
And the
course.
show is designed to help people turn their setbacks into great comebacks by telling in real time the story I just shared with you. And the Comeback Show is a show, it's like a Broadway show where
Mhm.
I tell the story, but I don't just tell the story, I act out the story in real time. So rather than just saying I was a jazz singer, I take you to the jazz club on
Ah.
in the show, and I do a small short set of jazz where I
Mm.
sing and give you the experience of being in that room, and then I tell you about the lessons I learned, the struggles I had, and the one part about it is when I got fired, I kind of breezed through it, but I said I was devastated,
Devastating.
but I was despondent. I was beyond.
Mhm.
I didn't get out of bed for a week
Mm.
because
Mm. And
all
you're
I
just
knew to do was to be a singer. And the
just
Right.
got
best,
married.
yeah. And I mean, that was the best gig in DC, and it was the highest paying. And I didn't want to go back to the low paying joints I had started at, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I was devastated. I was despondent. And
Mm.
my wife, when a week had gone by, and she said, "Look, you got to get out to bed." I said, no, I'm okay. I don't want to do that." She said, "Look, let's just go to church. Maybe that'll help." I said, "No, I don't want to go to church." She said, "No, no, because people will laugh at me. People will see I'm
Mm.
embarrassed, and he got fired." She said, "I tell you what, let's go to your mama's church where
Mm.
you grew up, little teeny wee church. You can
Mhm.
sit in the back." And I sat in the back of the church. She talked me into it. I went in the back of the church, and and the preacher got up to preach, he looks and says, "Is that Willie Jolley? Boy, we ain't seen you in a month of Sundays. Ah, man, come up here and sing that song
Up.
you
Mm.
used to sing when you was a boy, when you was a
Mm.
teenager." And I walked up slowly. The music started playing. And I said, "God is my protection.
Mm. Mm.
God, my God is my all and all. God is my direction. My God is my all in all. God
Mm.
is the joy and the strength of my life." And the
Yeah.
more I sang it, the stronger I got because I
There you
started
go.
speaking those things into my being. And
Yes.
He's my joy in a time of sorrow. He's my today and tomorrow. And by the time I finished singing, my back was back, my
Come on,
shoulders were up,
man.
and by
Come
the time
on.
I was going to work, and when I left that church that day, I said, "God, me and you are majority. I
Yes.
don't care what happened. Me and
Yes.
you gonna win. We gonna win, God. I don't care who fires me. I
Come
don't
on.
care about that. I'm gonna win.
Win.
With you and I cannot lose."
Come
And
on.
so that's been one of those points in my life that changed my life. Those defining moments.
Mhm.
And we all have defining moments. Rosa Parks had one on a bus. The Apostle
Mm.
Paul had one on a road to Damascus. We're going to have a defining moment. Now, the
Mm.
question is, when that moment happens in your life, will it make you or break you? Will it form you or will it destroy you? That's your choice. It's not the moment, it's your choice. You decide what's going to happen from that moment. Because I like what Bob Johnson said when I was interviewing him on my XM show. He said the same hammer that breaks the glass forges the steel. It's the same hammer.
Mm.
It depends on you making a decision. Okay, I had a setback. I went through a divorce. I went through a diagnosis. I went through a downsizing.
Mhm.
I don't know what your that hammer is going to be in your life, but you decide. I had one lady I was speaking. She came up after and said, My husband left me after 32 years.
Mm.
I'm devastated. And I said, ma'am, you shall not curl up and die. You hear me? You shall. Your life is still young. You're still a young woman. And I said, you're gonna change your thinking and change the rest of your life. She said, really? I said, yes. You just got to make up your mind. I gave her one of my books.
Mm-hmm.
I gave her Setback, Set Up for Comeback.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I saw about a year later. She said, my God, you were so right. My life is so much better than it's ever been.
Yeah.
I'm going places. I'm meeting people. I'm enjoying life because I changed my thinking. Your inputs determine your outputs.
Come on.
Garbage in, garbage out. Good stuff in, good stuff out. So the one-man show is a story that takes you on a journey. It's about 2 hours long. It's 60% speaking, 40% singing, and I like to say it like this. It's 50% speaking, 40% singing, and 10% laugh out loud stories and humor that just have you cracking up. So it's a story where I am part motivational speaker, part inspirational personality, part nightclub singer, and part stand-up comedian.
Wow.
It's quite an experience. And
that is so different.
So if you're on my newsletter, you'll get updates on when we're going to do it again in DC or when we're bringing it to a city near you.
Yeah.
That's what we're waiting on. That's what we're waiting on. We're waiting on it. Because you raised the bar for speaking. It's not just speaking.
Yes.
We're speaking and singing. We're putting in a set. It's part of your act. It's just genius. And it was actually featured in, was it a little paper called Washington Post?
The Washington Post. That's right. The Washington Post. They did a great review about it and talked about how it was life-changing. It was a life-changing night. And if you go to thecomebackshow.com, thecomebackshow.com, you will see testimonies of people who came, like the one lady. This one is so profound. This is why I knew that God had sent me to do this show. Lady comes, said, I lost my mother 6 months ago. She was the wind beneath my wings. I loved my mother. And I'm a very successful executive, but I'm broken. I was broken. Somebody recommended I come to your show. I didn't know if I should come or not because I've been so depressed. But today, something changed. Something happened. And that is why I do that show. You want to see some of those testimonies. Thecomebackshow.com.
Thecomebackshow.com. There you go. Thank you, Monet. She is on it. That is up. Thecomebackshow.com.
That Monet is on the ball. Monet is outstanding. Let's give her a shout out. She's the producer of this great program. When you get a good producer, I mean, it's everything. Okay,
she is on top of it. She is on top of it. So I also want to give a shout out to someone special.
Yes,
that you've mentored a lot of people. Della Toro, Simon Bailey.
Yes.
Give me a story about Dr. Simon Bailey, because he was the one in so many ways that made this happen.
Really?
I didn't know if you really know
I
that.
didn't know that.
2024 was a conversation Simon Bailey and I had about 9 months ago.
Okay.
And that was when we said, this is a breakout issue for 2024. Let's pull all this together. So
Simon's one of my mentees. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm very grateful that Simon, I have 3 mentees who are in the Speaker Hall of Fame. They all came to me as neophyte wannabe speakers.
Wow.
First was Simon. Simon came to me as an executive with Disney. He was a sales executive. We had met each other when I spoke for the meeting planners, different meeting planners conventions. He would always have a booth from Disney at the meeting planners booth. So we'd see each other. He'd greet me. I'd say hello. He said, I got one of your books. I said, nice to meet you. Da 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 da. Well, we became friends. I'd see him enough, and I gave him my number, and we stayed in touch. But he heard I was coming to to Orlando, where he lived, to speak. He said, could we have dinner? Could we have dinner? And he said, I want to do what you do. I want to
He was
do
in
what you
customer service. Yep, he was in customer
He was
service.
in customer service and leadership with the Disney Institute, sales leadership. And I said, well, I'm going to tell you how to do it. And I mentored him. Well, today he is one of the top speakers in corporate America.
Yes.
He is a Speaker Hall of Fame inductee, member of the Speakers Hall of Fame. He's been named one of the top speakers in the world by meeting planners. And so I'm very proud of him. Now, here's the story about Simon. And I talked to him last Saturday, in fact. He called me last Saturday. And I said, Simon, you know, I use you as the object lesson when people say, I work in corporate America. I have a good career in corporate America, but I want to speak. I said, Simon Bailey is the object lesson. Here's what he did.
Okay.
He started speaking while he still had a job.
And
he used his sick day, his sick leave, his annual leave, and his holiday time to speak. And he did that and kept his job until he was able to make as much money on his part-time job as he was on his full-time job. Then he was able to leave one so he could, or get close to his full-time income. And he was able to leave and become a full-time speaker. So I said, I'm not the object lesson for people who in corporate America to start a speaking business. Simon's the perfect model. I was the opposite. I quit my job, $200 to my name, had no idea how I was going to make money. And I knew I had to either make it or die. So I had to make it happen. It was a lot of pressure, I had a wife and 2 kids, a lot of pressure, but I made it happen. But I liked Simon's model. So first, Simon was first of my 3 guys in Speaker Hall of Fame. Then Della Toro, I met as a student at University of Central Florida when I came to Tampa to speak for the annual Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebrations. He said, can I help you at your table? My assistant said, sure, we need help. After he said, can I meet Dr. Jolley and spend some time? She said, come up to the room and we'll all sit for a few minutes. He said, I want to do what you do. I said, how serious are you? He said, I'm serious. I gave him what I told everybody. I tell them all the same thing to do. And he did it. He now is a Speaker Hall of Fame, making millions of dollars every year in a $1 million speakers group. Simon's in there as well, and doing great things. And then the third one was Walter Bond. Walter was a former professional basketball player. Someone told him to call me. He called me. I said, what do you want to do? I want to do what you do. I told him the same thing I told Simon, same thing I told Della Toro. He did it. Boom. He now is the Speaker Hall of Fame, is on the board of directors of Jersey Mike's, as well as making millions of dollars every year. So, folks, I want to encourage you to do what I told them to do. Here's what I'm going to tell them to do. Go to a website, youcanspeaknow.com.
Yes.
Order my speaker basic program. It's a downloadable file. Watch it. It's about 3 hours long. It will tell you what to do to get up and going in your speaking business. Simple. Look, and let me tell you, I told you I had $200 to my name because me and Les Brown were out in LA one day, and he said, Willie, you know, a lady called him someone was charging 60 grand just to get started. And I would not have been able to pay that, nor would Les been able to pay that. And I had a lady who called me and said she was being charged 100 grand to get started as speaker. I definitely would not have been able to pay that. I never made $100,000 in my life when I started speaking. And so I only had $200 to my name. So I decided to do what they're charging 60, 50, 60, 100 grand for. I did. I said, I'm going to do the same thing for $200. $200 because that's all I had. Youcanspeaknow.com. Go do it now. Get it. Order it. Watch it. And people, I always tell people the same thing. If you have questions, you can send me an email. But everybody who gets it, I never hear from them again until I see them in the airport on their way to go give a speech, getting paid.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. They get.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. That is. You know, you are so inspiring. Always inspiring. There are, you know, I've got this little postcard of you here. It says named Motivation Inspiration of the Year. You've got all these accolades on here. Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. All of your books, Setbacks to Greenbacks. the name of your show. Someone wanted to know the name of the podcast again.
Oh, the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast.
The
Willie
Willie
Jolley
Jolley
Wealthy
Wealthy
Ways
Ways
podcast
podcast.
on iHeartRadio, C-Suite Radio, Spotify, TuneIn, Apple, and Google Podcasts.
There you go.
Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. You get, I'm telling you, I have people who have told me they've doubled their income in 1 year while listening to those podcasts. Just one guy said, I listen on my way to work. I get half of it, other half on the way home. I doubled my income in a year.
I love that.
And that's what we want to do. That's why Pam and her husband have started this Speakers Magazine, because they are highlighting speakers to help people. We need agents of hope. We need voices of hope. We need people who are willing to help others through their words. And this magazine helps to do it. So I want to applaud Pam and Mark Perry and all of their team for making this happen. And I want y'all to support them, not just by reading the magazine, but support them financially if you want to be a sponsor, or if you know some sponsors. All right. And then get involved. And it makes a word of them. There's my boy, Delatoro. I got a great Delatoro story. I use that clip or that picture of that in my one-man show. Delatoro has a great piece in that book. What's the name of the book again? I want to make sure.
This one is Shifting to Higher Gear.
Yeah,
he actually does ride a motorcycle. So this is
he rides a motorcycle.
Prop.
Yeah, y'all should get that Shifting to Higher Gear book. It's fantastic. Look, first of all, he's been on Today's Show more than any motivational speaker in the last decade. He's the guy for the Today Show for motivation, and I'm proud of him for that. But
he's been working towards it. Just a backstory about Delatoro. When I first met Delatoro, first time I ever saw him was on TBN. And he was doing the whole thing with Paula White and that kind of thing. And I reached out to him at the airport. I saw his book. It was bright orange. I reached out to him, found his number, and called him. And we talked in between of getting on the plane about 30 minutes. And we have been in touch ever since. And he's one of the people that I've been mentoring in terms of PR, seeing the growth, he was speaking in churches and speaking anywhere. He just has the gift, right?
Yep.
And then when it became where people saw him on the Today Show, it was like, oh my God, it just happened. It was like, no, it actually was an overnight success. It took about 10 years, right?
Right. But they love him on the Today Show. But anyway, this story is out of the book. Get that book, Shifting to a Higher Gear. Highly recommend it. Go, if you don't know Delatoro, go check him out, delatoro.com. He tells the story no one does analogies better than Delatoro McNeil. No one does analogies better than him. I'm not hurting anybody. And he tells this analogy. What is the biggest animal in the jungle? The elephant. What's the fastest animal in the jungle? The cheetah. What's the tallest animal in the jungle? The giraffe. But who is the king of the jungle? The lion. What? But he's not the biggest. He's not the fastest. He's not the strongest. He's not the tallest. But yet he is the king of the jungle. How is that? Because he believes he is. Ooh. And he roars it. Every time he gets the opportunity, he roars, I am the king. And what the lesson in it, the analogy, the lesson he brings out of that, the pearl he brings from that is one, that you gotta believe that you are somebody going somewhere to do something special. And then you gotta speak it. You gotta speak it when you get your opportunity. You gotta speak it. And look, this is so true. When I started speaking, I told you I'd been fired. And I started this little speaking business. And I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine. And he said, what you gonna do now? You've been fired. I said, I'm gonna become a speaker. A speaker? You think somebody gonna pay you to speak? I said, I do. And I spoke something in that moment, Pam. YB, I spoke something. And in a decade, I'm gonna be one of the best speakers on the planet. And I said it like that because he kind of riled me up, okay, when he said, you think somebody gonna pay you for that? Because he doubted. He's had that voice of doubt. But many times when people doubt you, they say, oh, you thought to doubt yourself, like they know more than you. I said, no, I ain't doubting myself. I am born to do this. I'm going to do this. I believe I can do this. And I spoke it. I'm going to be, well, that was 1991. That was in 1991 when I gave that declaration. In 1999, I got that call from Toastmasters I told you about earlier. Named one of the top 5 speakers in the world. Wow. You got to speak it. So my question to you folks is, what are you speaking to yourself? What are you saying to yourself? Have you written down your goals for this year? Have you said what you want this year? If you have not, I'm imploring you to take out a piece of paper when this is over and ask yourself this question. If I had a year to live, doctors have confirmed I have 1 year to live, but I also have been confirmed that I have 364 days to achieve anything I speak and I write on a piece of paper. Knowing that I got 365 days to live, but I can achieve anything I write on a piece of paper in the next 364 days. It's impossible for me to fail if I write it down. Write down 10 things you would attempt if you knew you could not fail. Write them and read them for 30 days. And in 30 days, do the exercise again. And you'll think even bigger. Now, if you need help in doing more, we got a goal setting class that is a 3-hour goal. That's one of the pieces. That's the starting point. Then I go into a brain science concept to help you to actually visualize your brain, the pictures of what you want to achieve and help you to get some steps to get there. You can again go to winwithwillie.com and you'll see in there a goal setting class, a goal setting, goal achieving class. I have a sign on my right in front of me. It says goal getter. I'm not just a goal setter. I'm a goal getter. So I want you not to be a goal setter, but a goal getter. Let me help you get there. Go to winwithwillie.com, sign up for the goal setting, goal achieving class. Take it, but don't just do it by yourself. Do it with your family. Have your family. Everybody is all digital, and so you can see it. It's about 3 hours, and you sit down with your family. Y'all watch it one afternoon on a weekend or Sunday or Saturday afternoon. You watch it together and do the exercises. During Christmas, I had my whole family in. I flew everybody in. My granddaughter, she's an IT professional in Silicon Valley. My grandson works for Planet Fitness in Durham. My daughter, my son, I've got them all here. And we did the same thing I'm telling you to do.
Ooh, I'm going to do that.
We're going to do it. Goals for 2024.
It's a winter storm right here in Detroit. So this is something me and Mark are going to do.
Amen. Amen.
After this show.
And that cute little daughter of yours. They got the cutest daughter. Oh my gosh, she was at the dinner we had at the event. I said she is the cutest little thing, and they did good. They did good.
Thank you.
Dr. Jolley, in this edition here, you're listed as the GOAT of speaking. I know we want to get into the magazine.
Yes. Yeah, we got a few minutes here, but the GOAT means the greatest of all time. And the GOAT of speaking.
I am grateful. I have a sheet here. Dr. Willie Jolley Makes History that we're sending out to our clients to thank them. And I'm honored by that, GOAT. I'm the first speaker in history, not the first Black speaker, the first speaker in history to get the Cavett Award, highest award in speaking, get the Joseph R. Biden Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, be named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by Toastmasters, named Motivational Inspirational Speaker of the Year by Toastmasters, inducted into Speaker Hall of Fame, named one of the top 5 leadership speakers in America by Speaking.com, and hold the designation of a CSP, Certified Speaking Professional.
Wow.
So
that is
grateful.
news.
I'm
Yes.
grateful. I'm grateful. But look here,
And
folks.
then listen, and then somebody in 1991 said, "They gonna pay you for that?" Oh
They're
yeah,
gonna
you
pay you
just
for
watch
that. They're
them.
gonna
Big
pay you
time.
for
Mail
that.
them one of
Yeah.
them sheets. Mail that
Yeah.
person one of them
Send that
sheets.
to
Yeah.
them. Send that to them. You certified and bona fide.
Hey man, let me tell you, when I got that call to be from Toastmasters, named one of the top 5 speakers in the world, who do you think the next call I made? Hey, dude, you remember when you said? But here's what I want to say to y'all. Here, a couple things I want to say to y'all. One, I'm just getting started. Come
There
on,
you go.
somebody.
That
I'm
one man
just
show.
getting
Right.
started. Next thing, how important it is to continue to dream bigger. Now,
Mhm.
I got the Cabot Award, July 17th, 2023.
Mhm.
July 18th, 2023, I was working on my next set of goals. Okay.
Mm.
What am I going to do now? That's very nice. Thank you very much. But I always like to say when something good happens or something big, I say, I have a question I ask myself. I say, so what? So what, Willie? What you going to do about it? How is it going to impact people? How is it going to change people's lives? You got work to do. Don't get it twisted. You got work to do. You're not here just for a small impact. You want to make a dent in the universe. And if that's what God put you here to do, you got to go to work. Thank you, God. I'm blessed by that. When I got my doctorate degree, and that was after a year going to school in 2012 and shutting down my speaker business for a year to go back and get my doctoral degree.
Wow.
I got a doctorate in faith-driven achievement. I had to write a dissertation. I had to write papers. I had to study. I had to go to the library. But when I finished, I said, thank you, God. I've achieved that. Now what? I'm encouraging you all wherever you are. Keep going.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
it. Keep
Mhm.
going. You
Mhm.
got to keep
Mhm.
going.
Mhm.
I want to say when you have a win, which we all want you to win or something. You have a win, celebrate it for a day. Celebrate it. But then get ready to go to the next mountain. The great ones keep climbing the mountain. They
That's
keep
it.
going up the mountain.
You
They
can't
don't
sit
get
on
they
your
don't get to
laurels.
they don't get to base camp and stay there. In the setback book, I said there are 3 types of people: the quitters, the campers, the climbers. The quitters look at the big mountain in front of them, my doctoral degree in front of me. My doctoral, when I wanted to go back and get my doctorate, I've been talking about it for 30 years. It looked like a Mount Everest in front of me. But when I look back at it in the rear view mirror, after I did the work, after I wrote the papers, after I studied, after I did the research and got the degree, it looks like a molehill in my rear view mirror. So first, you can't quit when it looks big. Number 2 is the campers. They go up the mountain halfway to get to base camp and they get comfortable.
Mm.
They stay there for 40 years. They get a house, they get a car, they get a few little nice things, but they stay there and never go nowhere else. But then you got the climbers. So you got the quitters, the campers, the climbers, get to base camp. They refresh, they renew, they're glad they got there, but then they get back on the job. They go up that climb. They're faced with avalanches, they're faced with frigid temperatures, but they keep going until they get to the summit and they plant their flag. And my summit will be the day when I die. Come on, somebody. The day I leave here, that will be where I put my flag in the ground, say, I hit this goal. And I'm thank you, God, I'm coming to see you. But that's going to be the summit. I ain't stopping until I die. My mentor, by the way, is a guy named Dave Yoho.
Dave Yoho.
Dave, Yoho. He's 95 years old and he works every day. He's in demand as a speaker and consultant. He is 95 in
I
good health,
love that.
drive to work in the building he owns, has his staff. They have their staff meeting. He's on the phone. I talk to him, try and talk to him at least once a month because he inspires me. I'm encouraging you, get a mentor. Everybody should have a mentor because there are 2 ways to get to any goal: mentors and mistakes. Both will get you there if you don't give up. One just get you there with less headaches, heartaches, and knots upside your head. Get you
I know
some
that's right.
mentors. And mentors
That's
in
it.
every area. Marriage mentors. Our book is a marriage mentor book. We're not marriage counselors. We're marriage mentors. D&I mentor. You should have mentors if you play golf, a golf mentor. If you're a speaker, you should have a speaker mentor. If you're a writer, you should have a publishing or writing mentor. Every area of my life, I have a mentor. who helped me in every sector. I got a radio mentor. I got a television mentor. I got a speaking mentor. I got a writing mentor. I got a publishing mentor. I got a music mentor. I got a marketing mentor. I got mentors in every part of my life. And I listen to their wise counsel.
People can't do it alone. That's one of the reasons of BSN, Black Speakers Network. That is so true. Because it's for people to come together to collaborate. That's one of the main things.
That's why y'all need to make sure to connect with Black Speakers Network. Connect with Pam Perry, whatever you do. First, let me give a shout out. If you need some PR, some real deal PR, somebody who know what they doing, you call PR Miss Pam Perry. PP, you call that Miss PP, Miss Pam Perry. Say, I need to get my business motivated and advertised. Because let me tell you, a business with no sign is a sign of no business. Come on, somebody.
I love that.
Said that. You got to get a sign out there blinking. And Pam Perry help you get on media, get your name out. I highly recommend her and her husband. Her husband is so brilliant. This guy is so easygoing in the background. Wouldn't know he was in the room if you were in the room with him, but he's brilliant. Brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, we've been doing this for a minute and we love it. We love it. And we wouldn't really do anything else because we love helping those that are making that dent in the universe. Just like what you said, those Les Browns, the George Frazier's, yourself, those at Del Toro, Simon Bailey, those are the people that we love to assist getting the word out. So that is really, really.
Have you had Dennis Kimbrough on as of yet?
Yes, I have. Dennis Kimbrough has been on the cover. I think it was April last year.
All right, because he's one of my mentors. He's one of my mentors.
Yes. He
Les
told me.
is a mentor. Yeah.
Yes, he told me. And that was the thing that you guys shared, that it was like, I've been on this show, I've been on this stage. You share with each other. And
it is a good thing, Pam. I called Dennis Kimbrough when I first got my first book out. I was introduced to him by a friend, Marlon Smith. That's another one you should have on the show.
Okay.
Marlon Smith. Okay. He's under the Tony Robbins umbrella. Okay. He's great. But Marlon introduced me to Dennis, and Dennis took time with me. I was a new speaker. I mean, I had a new book out. And he took time with me. He mentored me on how to get on my book on the bestsellers list. 30 years later, Dennis calls me and I mentor him on how to grow his speaking business. Les Brown, mentor. Often Les Brown will call me and I will mentor him in some area of his life. We help each other. And so I want to encourage everybody to get a mentor. I encourage everybody to work on your thinking. I encourage everybody to read the Speakers Magazine. I encourage everybody to go to Win with Willie. If you want to be a speaker, get the You Can Speak Now class. If you want to just win more, get the goal setting class. And make sure you get my resources. Get my bag of books or my box. One or the other. There's a box back here in the background. There's a box.
Yeah, I was the benefactor. I was the benefactor of your box, Willie.
Amen. Amen. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm frozen or they frozen, but get the box and it'll have a profound impact, or the bag of books. Do it today. It'll make a difference in your business and in your life. And make the decision that you're going to keep going up the mountain. You're not going to stop, because know that your best is yet to come. And so I don't know whether I'm the frozen one or they the frozen one, but I'm glad. If I'm not the frozen one, I'm going to keep talking to y'all till they pop back on. And say to everybody, okay, I'm not frozen. Okay, good. I'm going to keep talking. Thank you, Monet. So, we got these different things. So look, let me tell you what I tell people on my Sirius XM show. And I'll close with this. I guess everybody knows me for this story. At the end of every segment of my yes, I would like to talk about my magazine. I just don't have it here in front of me, Monet. Okay, there it is. There's my magazine, The Goat of Speaking. I want to encourage everybody to go and read the articles and read the information in the magazine, because it's so profound, and I'm so grateful. Now, how did I get to be the GOAT? Because I decided that I was never going to become comfortable with where I am. I was always going to keep growing. I was going to keep working, and I was going to keep fighting for my goal and my dreams. Everybody got to have your dreams. I got 3 D's: dream, decide, and do.
There you go. You got to
Dream,
do.
decide, but you got to do. Faith without works is dead. You
That's
must
one of
act
my
on it.
favorite.
So you got to take action on it. And I'm encouraging everybody to go and get my box, because I got my music in there. I got my speaking program in there, my home study speaking program. I've got my books, my audio books, my PBS specials. All of that is there. So I'm just grateful to be here with my friend, Dr. Pam Perry.
Hey.
Let me know when we're ready to close. So I can give them a quick close.
We are. Monet, we could kind of just speed through towards the end, and then we get ready to get out of here. But they can go to speakersmagazine.com. You'll see there's videos embedded in there, Dr. Willie Jolley. You don't know which ones I embed in there, but you'll go in there and you'll see that you have one on the front, 2 in the center of videos of you in there that's embedded.
Wow.
And then, Monet, let's keep going.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yes.
That is so brilliant.
I mean, speakers speak, right? So we got to have them
fantastic.
speaking. Yes. So we got to have them speaking.
I'm going to close with my favorite story. When I was on the Get Motivated tour, for many people might know, I replaced Zig Ziglar when he died on the Get Motivated tour. We came to Detroit. We came to Cleveland. We came to many cities around it. Me, I'd open, Les Brown would close. And I'm very grateful for that opportunity. And so I would close every tour stop with this story. I was a new speaker. I had no books, no tapes, no television, no radio, no credentials to be a speaker. I was struggling to keep the phones on, struggling to keep the lights on. I'd make sales calls. People say, I'd never heard of you before, and hang up in my face. I'd get discouraged, and I wouldn't make any more calls that day. There's a lesson there. Don't let people discourage you. They can disappoint you, but don't let them discourage you. That means take away your courage. But I didn't know that then, so I got discouraged, and I wouldn't make any calls for 2-3 days. But one day I got my dad up, and I made my first call that day, and the man said, I like your energy. I like the way you're talking. I'm having a meeting, and I need an opening speaker. You'd be good. Are you available? I said, yes. He said, here's the budget. It was more than I usually charge. I said, oh, that's great. And he said, I'm going to give you a round trip ticket to Orlando. You come on down there and you speak and fire them up. I said, yes, sir. I flew to Orlando. I gave the speech. They gave me a standing ovation. Then they gave me my check. I was ecstatic. Finished meeting and greeting people. Went on back to the airport feeling good. Got on that plane feeling good. The plane took off. I'm feeling good. And then I pulled that check out a second time. But when I pulled the check out a second time, I got depressed because that money was already allocated. That money was gone. Anybody ever got your check before you get home, you know it's gone? I started having a pity party with myself right there in B22. An older gentleman across the aisle must have sensed I was struggling. He struck up a conversation with me. He told me he was a minister. He lectured every day in a different city about health and wealth. I said, "Do you speak every day?" He said, "Yes." I said, "You fly every day?" He said, "Yes." We spoke for a few more minutes. Then he asked me a question that changed the trajectory of my future. He said, "Young man, how old do you think I am?" I said, "Sir, you look to be about 60 to me." He said, "Young man, I'm 88 years old." I'm 88. And my best is yet to come. Woo! In that moment, everything shifted in my head. If an 88-year-old man could have the optimism to believe that his best days were in front of him and not behind him, what did I have to whine and cry and complain about? And I went home with a new attitude. And I got on that phone and started making sales calls. And people said no, I'd say next. They say, I'm not interested in what you guys say. You're not the right one. Well, 30 years have gone by. I've been inducted in the Speaker Hall of Fame. Named one of the top 5 speakers in the world. Been the author of best-selling books. I have the Cavett Award. All of the awards. But it's just the tip of the iceberg. And I say to you, without a question in my mind, your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Friends, you have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon you, can't refuse it. You didn't seek it, you didn't choose it, but it's up to you to use it. You must suffer if you lose it. Give account if you abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but your eternities are wrapped up in it. It's been a privilege and a pleasure, a treat and a treasure, a joy beyond measure for me to be on the cover of Speaker Magazine and to be on today with my friend, Dr. Pam Perry, YB, and all of you. God bless you, and may heaven smile upon you. I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. Oh my God.
Thank you, Pam Perry. You're awesome. You are so awesome. And your
You
husband's awesome.